We discussed how in an Omani context, development can be sustainable and what that might mean in an Omani context, as it doesn't always mean the same thing everywhere. If a barrel of oil is used here in Oman to create electricity, it has a value of roughly $25 US dollars a barrel. If that same barrel is sold in the world market, it brings into Oman roughly $110 a barrel. So therefore, we're looking at about $85 a barrel, if I've done the math right, that's gone somewhere. Well, where does it go? Into the air. It's gone. It's disappeared. It's realistic, surveys tell us, that people could use 50% of the energy that they use now and still live the same way without changing lifestyle. It means some changes to insulation to your house, things like that, smart meters for your home, smart thermostats for your home. But it's doable. It's achievable, readily achievable with off-the-shelf products every day. So if we take that $85 and we say to ourselves, we're going to make some split between the budget of Oman and the people who are actually doing the work to save the electricity, right? Then we could literally pay them more than what it's costing them now to use electricity. So if you sign up for the program and you do what you're supposed to do successfully, we will buy back that electricity, so to speak, that we've subsidized from you. If you don't do your part, no harm, no foul. You continue to pay what you've been paying and pay us back, thank you very much, for the money that we've invested in your house. Now that I think could be I don't want to use this term catalyst for change that we've heard only 40,000 times in the last 2 days, so I won't. But if Oman got started with a program of energy, wise energy usage, then Oman could become the place where companies come to study their products. For example, on a similar vein, Oman could heavily subsidize electric cars, using the same thing I was saying before, but only in oil and gas as opposed to electricity. Now, everybody and their brother would come to Oman to study how batteries do in hot climates, because one of the big issues for electric cars is hot climates. BMW would set up here to study it. Toyota would set up here to study it. They would need Omani engineers to understand what's going on in an Omani context. That would have a ripple effect. Oman has all the building blocks, in my opinion, that any country needs to do renewable energy right. That is to say, solar takes up large areas of land. Oman has large areas of land. Wind needs some kind of understandable wind pattern. You need to know when it's going to blow and when it's not. It has that. You also need land to put up wind farms, which Oman has. You need population in pockets, so you don't have to move the power for hundreds of miles from the windy areas to the cities, because you lose a lot in the transmission. Oman has small towns peppered throughout most of the country, not too far from the windy areas. So all the building blocks are there. What's missing, to be provocative, is some kind of a national will to tie it all together. And that is, in my opinion, because electricity is so cheap, because Oman has only now begun to realize the true value of the oil and gas wealth that it has. It's not that it's for free, and therefore let's let everybody use it as if it's for free. The alternative cost is $85 a barrel. And the government's taken note of that, and it's now being inculcated into recent legislation in terms of the Rural Electricity Company, which is owned by the government of Oman. They now have some standards they have to uphold in terms of justifying why they're not using renewable energy in an area where it's appropriate. Well, I hope that people will bandy about the idea of how do we get paid for our electricity instead of paying for it. I don't know whether I did a good enough job explaining it, or I had enough time, or had too much time, but I wanted to put that out there because it's a nice soundbite that people can kind of fixate on, that's real or could be real. It would add to their budget. I think that in my experience, Oman, there's a tremendous amount of goodwill. but there doesn't seem to be the accelerant. There doesn't seem to be the engine often that can pull everybody in the same direction. I don't have any answers for why or how that is, but that's something I've noticed.